What is up, everybody? So we're back here with the rear end of the old crawler. So what I'm going to start on is pretty much just cutting all this stuff out. I've got the tires off. I've got it sitting on jack stands. I've got the trusty cherry picker holding it up for me. I'm hoping what I can do is just kind of leave it right there because the shocks are already set up and everything. So basically I'm just going to kind of replace the links and, you know, just kind of weld on the new mounts and get the new links in there. All that garbage up in there needs to go. That they welded random pieces of stuff in there to weld random pieces of stuff in there to weld random pieces of stuff in there. So it's gonna be fun. A lot of this looks like smaller gauge steel, so I'm hoping my plasma will just blast through all of this stuff, but I'm gonna get on it. Let's do it. I decided the first thing I'm gonna do is drop the old gas tank. There's two bolts right here, one there and one over there, and then there's two up in here, right there, those two. I've already got the lines undone. I'll have to pull the wiring off over there once I drop it down a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how much fuel is in there. I put a gallon in it when I got this thing. Other than that, I don't think it had much fuel in it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I'm just going to be up there kind of trying to hold it up. But so I'm going to drop that so I don't have to worry about the sparks and welding and everything, like getting on top of the tank and like possibly catching my entire house on fire and me on fire and everything. So I figured the safest thing to do would be to drop the old gas tank. So that's what I'm going to do. I got them. They were freaking in there. These bolts are all, God, it's just, whatever. Alrighty, so, yeah, now I just have a bunch of cutting. I dropped the fuel tank, but because they welded a bunch of junk in there that was never supposed to be in there, you know, just random stuff from a scrap heap, I guess. I can't pull the lead out, and I don't want to cut anything just yet, so I need to cut that out really carefully over there in that corner where the upper link went over there. You can see the wire coming out right there. I got to cut that out super carefully without damaging the wiring, and then I can pull that out and get the tank completely out of the way. Man, dropping that tank was no fun either. Like, I dropped it down and just whoosh, like all the dirt and grime and everything just dumped right down the front of my shirt. So that was pretty cool. And then they had the cord all zip tied up, so I had to like finagle it down. It was just not fun. I should have recorded it. It would have been a pretty good laugh. But now I just got a lot of cutting and grinding to do. A whole bunch of cutting and grinding. And then start welding on the brackets and then put the links in. The rear end's going to be pretty easy. So yeah, that's where she's going to sit. I'm going to make sure it's centered. I'm pretty sure it was all centered up, but I'm going to make 100% sure it's centered, and you know, just kind of go from there. Just clean everything up. So like always, I'll turn you guys on from time to time, kind of show you the progress, show you what I'm doing, and then kind of gab at you every now and again too. So let's keep going on this. Alright guys, well, I just crapped my pants. Dude, okay, so I was under there cutting the stuff out with the plasma, and I took that pry bar right there that's laying on the ground, and I was just trying, like, I wasn't even prying hard. I was just prying a little bit on this little piece I was trying to get out so I could cut the rest of that makeshift cross member thing they put under there. And dude, the whole thing, like the cherry picker just slid over, and the whole truck slid over. Thankfully, like, it didn't fall. It just kind of like slid all the way over, and it was like all cattywampus, dude. It was scary as hell. I was like underneath there, and I like threw myself out towards that side and like booked it. Like, I'm surprised, like, at my age and like with the type of shape I'm in. I mean, I'm not in terrible shape, but the type of shape I'm in, I surprised myself how fast I freaking got out of there. But it was scary. So I'm taking the rear axle out right now. I'm going to take the rear axle out. I'm going to take the shocks out, and I'm going to set this thing down on some jack stands and make sure that it can't go anywhere, because that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. I was going to try and leave it on the shocks and leave the rear end where it was and just try and cut all the stuff off the rear end underneath there. But no, I disconnected the brake line already. I got that shock off the axle. I got to take that shock off the axle. I'll pull the axle out from under there, and then I'll get in there and pull the two shocks out. But that was scary. That was so scary, you guys. Like, I literally, like, that freaked me out. Like, bad. So, what I do have to say is, like, don't try that. Those air shocks, even if you have coilovers or whatever, they do have positive pressure. So they are pushing, like, the entire time. And I figured that would just push them, like, down on the jack stands. And, you know, it wouldn't be that big of a deal with it on the cherry picker. But just a little bit, I'm telling you guys, I wasn't even pushing that hard. Just that little bit of leverage that I had under there pushing, it let that
the driver's side shock just extend out, and then it just like flopped over from there. The only thing that really stopped it from going all the way over, besides the cherry picker, is that the shock actually like was up against the frame on that side. It didn't damage the shock or anything, thank God. But that's what stopped it from like flopping all the way over. And yeah, that was insanely scary. So I'm gonna get this thing like legitly set up so that I can work under there without like, you know, scaring myself like that again, because that was bad. But I wish I was filming it. I kind of wish I was filming it, but I feel really stupid for just not taking the little bit of extra time to be 100% safe about this. I didn't want to have to bleed the brakes and stuff, but it is so much better to just take the little bit of extra time to do it the like legit way, instead of like risking like hurting yourself or even killing yourself. If that would have like been able to like just fall down on me, I'd be dead. Like I'd be stuck under there dead, and then my wife or kids would find me literally dead under my rock crawler. So I'm I don't even want to put this on this video, but I'm telling you guys right now, that was so freaking scary. And I mean, there would have had to be like a series of like very bad things happening for me to actually get hurt from that. Like my 8-ton cherry picker would have had to completely collapse and all that stuff. And I was in a situation under there where I still probably would have survived because the front end's all done. So it would have just dropped the rear end down. And I was far enough under there that I don't think I would have got squished. But just go the extra mile. Just make sure. Like, I was trying to cut some corners, and I found out, you know, just now that's not just, I'm not doing that again. I'm not cutting corners again. So I'm going to finish pulling the rear axle out and pull the shocks out. And then, I don't know, I'll probably call it a night, because that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. Like, really, really bad. All right, you guys, I'll show you when I got all the rear end out of there and get the shocks out. Still alive. Got the rear end out, the shocks out. See, nice and empty under there. There's the rear end sitting on jack stands. I set it like that to make it easy to cut all the stuff off instead of having to flop it back and forth. I can cut everything off the way it's sitting right now. None of the gear oil is going to leak out. I'll top it off once I'm all done, and right before I put it back under there. I've got it sitting on jack stands now. Yeah, much better. There's not as much room under there as there was before, but I'd rather take that than take a chance of that same crap happening again. And I'll have the old cherry picker for backup. I'll just put some pressure on it when I'm under there, just to, not to lift it up at all, but just to make sure, like, if something happens with the jack stands or whatever, that at least it can't fall on me. So I got all the old tabs cut off. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up, and then paint it up, and weld the stuff on, and then put it back under there once I get all the stuff cut out from under there. But that's a long time away. Let's focus on this. Focus, focus, focus.
Well, I got the axle cleaned up. I didn't wire brush this side yet, but this side's all cleaned up and painted. Kind of hard to see. And I've got the center mark there. I did have to cut the little mount because it's made to go around the pumpkin, and you can see there's already a big old block of stuff around the pumpkin. So I marked center of that right there, and I cut it, ground it. It's all ready to just go ahead and plop on there and weld it. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and then I'll be putting the link mounts on the outsides, unlike they did. They put them underneath the axle. That's the dumbest crap I've ever seen in my life, but you know, different strokes. You want less clearance. I don't really like all of this because it does give you less clearance. But, I mean, it's on there, and I'm not going to take the time and effort to pull all of that crap off. So it's just going to have to be a super duper crazy over armored axle, I guess. There it is, guys. It's on there. See, my marks are right centered up. I'm just gonna throw some beads on it. Well, that's good enough for now on that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rest of this up and paint it, and then get to work back on the old 4Runner there. Start getting all that, continue I should say, getting all that stuff cut out of there, and then put that bracket in, make the links, throw this back under there. So I'm gonna clean it up, and I'll turn you guys back on eventually to let you see the progress. So I got the link mounts mounted on the axle. Axle's all cleaned up and ready to go back in there. I wear my sunglasses at... Oh, what's up? Yeah, I've been working on this thing. Let's go over here where it's a little bit noisy. But as you can see, got some, pretty much the front part of it pulled out. I'll get back under there and kind of show you guys what's going on. With my compressor constantly going off and the noise from that, you know, it's not the best recording material. Alright, so I've been plasmaing all this stuff and using the angle grinder a little bit, but I'm trying to get this out of here. They welded this piece in, like a little piece of square tubing, so that they could weld to it, because it's all cattywampus in there, you know. They just kind of made it out of scrap metal. You see right there, and right there is where I cut that first piece out, and then I cut off these little pieces of square tubing right there and right there to get that front piece out. And I'm trying to get this piece out. I cut it in half already, and they had this all notched out, so that wasn't me. I just cut the center there. But I'm almost done getting this stuff out, I hope, because it's been quite the ordeal. And then I'm gonna clean up the frame, and I'm pretty sure my mount, the trail gear mount, goes right here somewhere, but I'm gonna clean like this up because they just hacked it off and stuff, and I'm gonna clean it up on the other side, and you know, just do a bunch of kind of cleanup work, prep work, get rid of this, the heat shield. My muffler is not gonna go that far back. Get rid of all these, you know, hoses and tubes and lines and stuff that I'm not using. So basically I'm just gonna kind of get this out of here and finish cleaning it up. Alright. Okay, so why these were so hard to get off was he welded this piece of square tube inside the other tube, and then like completely crazy booger welded everything. So trying to cut that off around just didn't work out very well. So as you can see, that was as cleaned up as I could get it with the plasma on this side. I'll do the same thing on this side, and just finished cleaning everything up. Alright everybody, so that's going to be the end of this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you like. Let me know if I'm like completely just doing all this stuff wrong, or what you guys think. Yeah, so I'll see you on the next video. Until then, peace.